Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. My name is Elena, and I'm so excited to be here with you today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jack, and we're so happy you're joining us. Today, we're talking about something really fun and useful: how to learn English with podcasts.
Yes, podcasts can be a great way to improve your English. Before we start, we'll share some keywords we'll use a lot today.
Good idea, Elena. So, let's go through some important words. 1. Podcast. A digital audio program you can listen to on your phone or computer. 2. Fluent. Being able to speak a language smoothly and easily. 3. Vocabulary. The words you know and use in a language. 4. Pronunciation. How you say words in a language. 5. Accent. The way someone speaks a language, often showing where they come from. 6. Subscribe. To follow a podcast or channel so you get updates when there's something new. 7. Comprehension. Understanding what you hear or read. 8. Repetition. Doing something again and again to learn it better. 9. Focus. To concentrate or pay attention to something. 10. Practice. Doing something regularly to improve your skill.
Great. Now, let's start by talking about why podcasts are a fantastic tool for learning English. Jack, what do you think?
I think podcasts are amazing because you can listen to them anytime, anywhere. You can learn while walking, cooking, or even relaxing. And it doesn't feel like studying, it feels fun.
Exactly. Also, podcasts are great because you can listen to real conversations. This helps you hear how people speak naturally, including their tone, rhythm, and pronunciation.
And the best part is you can pause, rewind, and listen again if you don't understand something. It's like having a teacher who is always patient.
That's so true. Plus, there are podcasts for every level, from beginner to advanced. So, even if you're just starting, there's something for you.
Yes, and there are podcasts on every topic you can imagine. If you like cooking, there are podcasts about food. If you like sports, there are podcasts about football, basketball, and more.
That's a great point. When you listen to something you enjoy, you're more motivated to keep going. And while listening, you learn new words and phrases naturally.
Right. And speaking of learning new words, it's important to write down the ones you don't know. Then you can check their meanings and practice using them in sentences.
Yes, and don't forget to say the words out loud. This helps with your pronunciation and makes you more confident when speaking.
Also, try listening to the same podcast episode more than once. The first time, you might not catch everything, but the second or third time, you'll understand more.
And if there's something you still don't get, don't worry. Learning a language takes time, and every little step helps.
Absolutely. Another tip is to focus on podcasts with transcripts. A transcript is the written version of what you hear. It helps you follow along and understand better.
Yes, and when you read and listen at the same time, you improve both your reading and listening skills.
That's right. Podcasts are like a secret weapon for learning English. And the more you listen, the better your listening comprehension will become.
I agree, Jack. Listening regularly builds your confidence too. You'll find it easier to join conversations and express yourself in English.
Exactly, Elena. And one more thing that really helps is choosing podcasts that match your level. If you're a beginner, you don't want to listen to something too advanced. That can feel frustrating and might make you want to give up.
Absolutely, Jack. If the podcast is too hard, you'll feel lost. But if it's at your level, you'll feel like you're making progress, and that's so motivating.
Another thing to remember is that it's okay to not understand everything. You don't have to know every word. Focus on the general meaning.
Right. And if you hear a new word or phrase, try to guess its meaning from the context. For example, if someone says, "I grabbed an umbrella because it was raining," you can guess that umbrella is something used in the rain.
Yes, that's a great strategy. Context is your best friend when learning a language. But don't forget to look up the word later to make sure you understand it fully.
And while you're learning new words, try to group them into topics. For example, words about food, travel, or work. This makes it easier to remember them.
Good tip, Elena. Also, Try to repeat the words you've learned. Use them in sentences, or even make up a little story using the new words.
That's a fun idea. Stories help you remember better because they connect the words in a meaningful way.
Exactly. And you can also practice by repeating after the podcast host. This helps with your pronunciation and makes your speaking more natural.
Yes, mimicking the host's tone and rhythm is like practicing with a native speaker. It helps your speaking sound more fluent.
And don't forget, it's okay to make mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning. The important thing is to keep trying.
Absolutely, Jack. Every mistake is a step closer to getting better. Just stay patient and enjoy the process.
And speaking of enjoying the process, remember to reward yourself when you complete a podcast episode. Celebrate your effort.
That's such a good idea, Jack. Learning English should feel exciting, not stressful.
Exactly, Elena. When you enjoy learning, you're more likely to stick with it. That's why it's important to choose topics you love.
Yes, and it doesn't matter what the topic is, as long as it interests you. It could be about travel, cooking, technology, or even funny stories.
That's true. When you listen to something you care about, it doesn't feel like work. It feels fun, and you learn without even realizing it.
And when you find a podcast you like, try to make it a part of your daily routine. For example, listen to it while you're having breakfast or commuting to work.
Exactly. Building a habit is key. Even just 10 or 15 minutes a day can make a big difference over time.
Yes, consistency is everything. It's like going to the gym. The more often you do it, the stronger you get.
That's a great comparison, Elena. And just like exercising, it's okay to take small steps at first. You don't need to understand everything all at once.
Right. Start with short podcasts, maybe 5 or 10 minutes long, and slowly work your way up to longer ones.
Another tip is to focus on quality over quantity. It's better to listen to one episode carefully than to rush through many episodes without really understanding them.
Absolutely. And don't forget to take notes while listening. Writing down new words or phrases helps you remember them better.
And when you take notes, try to write example sentences with those words. This way, you can see how they're used in real life.
Yes, and you can even create flashcards to review your vocabulary. There are great apps for that, or you can make your own with paper.
That's a great idea, Elena. Reviewing regularly keeps the words fresh in your mind.
And while you're reviewing, don't forget to practice speaking. Say the words and sentences out loud. This helps you feel more confident when talking to others.
Exactly. Speaking is just as important as listening. The more you practice, the easier it will be to have real conversations in English. Default text.
Yes, and podcasts can give you so many ideas for things to talk about. You can even share what you learned with a friend or language partner.
That's such a good point, Elena. Talking about what you've learned is a great way to remember it and make it part of your active vocabulary.
Yes, and it doesn't have to be complicated. Even just saying a few sentences about the podcast topic can really help.
Exactly. And if you don't have someone to talk to, you can practice by speaking to yourself. For example, you could summarize the podcast episode out loud.
That's a great tip, Jack. Speaking to yourself is like a rehearsal. It helps you organize your thoughts and get comfortable with the language.
Right. And another thing that helps is shadowing. This means listening to a podcast and trying to repeat what the host says, word for word, right after them.
Yes, shadowing is such a powerful technique. It improves your pronunciation, your fluency, and even your listening skills.
Exactly. And if it feels too fast at first, you can slow down the audio. Many podcast apps have a speed control option.
That's a good reminder. Slowing down the audio can make it easier to catch each word and phrase, especially if you're just starting out.
And don't forget to pay attention to the intonation and rhythm. These are just as important as the words themselves when learning to sound natural.
That's so true. Intonation can change the meaning of a sentence, so practicing it helps you sound more like a native speaker.
And speaking of practice, don't feel shy about trying to imitate accents. It's a fun way to improve your pronunciation and learn how different English speakers sound.
Yes, English has so many accents: American, British, Australian, and more. Listening to different ones makes your ears sharper and prepares you for real-world conversations.
Exactly. Plus, it makes learning more interesting because you get to hear all the unique ways people use English.
And the more you expose yourself to different accents and styles, the more confident you'll feel when speaking with people from around the world.
That's the beauty of podcasts. They open up a whole world of learning opportunities right from your phone or computer.
Yes, Jack, and they also help you build a habit of listening to English every day, which is one of the best ways to improve quickly.
That's exactly it, Elena. Daily listening really is the key. Even if it's just a little each day, it adds up over time and makes a big difference.
Yes, and the great thing about podcasts is how flexible they are. You can listen at home, on the bus, or even while exercising. They fit into your life so easily.
And the more you listen, the more you'll notice your skills improving, your vocabulary will grow, your pronunciation will get better, and your confidence will increase.
Absolutely, Jack. And let's not forget, learning English with podcasts is not just about studying. It's about having fun and enjoying the process.
Exactly, so let's quickly summarize the tips we've talked about today. First, choose podcasts that match your level and interest you.
Yes, and don't worry if you don't understand everything. Focus on the general meaning and learn from the context.
Take notes, write down new words, and practice saying them out loud. Use techniques like shadowing to improve your pronunciation and fluency.
And don't forget to make listening a daily habit, even if it's just for a few minutes. Consistency is what really makes a difference.
Exactly, and most importantly, enjoy the journey. Celebrate your progress, no matter how small, and stay motivated.
We hope this podcast has given you some useful ideas for learning English with podcasts.
If you found this helpful, please subscribe to our channel. It helps us keep making content for learners like you.
And don't forget to like this podcast, share it with your friends and family, and leave us a comment. We'd love to hear about your favorite podcasts and how you're learning English.
Thank you so much for listening. Keep practicing, keep learning, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone, and happy learning. Goodbye.
Goodbye.